What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Black Primacy TV. I am your host, ReeezY. And today, we're going to kick off another episode of the Black Success Chronicles. And since it's Father's Day, I thought I would bring my own father on the show, and we'll call him Father ReeezY.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here and having this conversation with you.
All right, perfect. So, as you know, this show is intended to highlight my idea of success. And I do know that, you're successful in many things, but I wanted to use today to talk about your success in fatherhood. So, let's talk Black fatherhood. Again, it's Father's Day. So that is the theme of today's episode. Talking racial injustice in the current climate with police brutality and just all the things that are going on with African Americans today and with the recent events. What does it mean to be a Black man with a family? In today's climate, what are your fears? What would be some of your fears,
Well, my fears is, I have sons, I have daughters. Being profiled as something, racial profiling is one. Being shot because they said you had a gun, being killed by police because they said you had a gun.
Mm-hmm. So what would you tell me at 5 years old? There's this new thing, or I don't know if it's new or not. I've just heard about it within the last year. This thing going around where African American families are starting to have the talk with kids. With their kids. It's similar to the birds and the bees talk, but the talk is more about how to handle yourself if you're ever in a situation with the police. What would you say?
I would say, first of all, don't be combative. Listen. And give them what they want. Mm-hmm. They ask you for your driver's license, give them. You don't have to say anything. Give them your driver's license. Mm-hmm. These days you have cell phones. Call someone. Put it on your dashboard so they can hear your conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was recently watching a video, and there were two sides to that. One side was on your side, which is, make it home, basically. Get home. And the other side was fight. I see pros and cons to both. Me personally, I gotta get home. I don't have kids yet, but and that's even, when I do have a whole family, it's like I gotta get home. There's obviously certain buttons I feel that police are going to try and push. There are going to be certain lines that, we can't allow them to cross. But many times we are shot in cold blood over, lines that we could have just let go, and it sucks that we have to think like that at times. But at the end of the day, I got to get home. You know, the other side of the story was that, we gotta, if we keep letting them get their way, they're going to keep pushing and they're going to keep taking from us. Mm-hmm. I understand that side as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't really know which, I don't think there's any right or wrong way to go. You gotta pick a side and live that way.
Well, first, like you said, you gotta get home.
Yeah.
Make it home. Then you fight. You get the information from the cop with his badge, because these days they're supposed to have what? Mics or cameras. Get a copy. Why did they pull you over? And then you fight. But first of all, get home. Like I said, hey, if you have to put your cell phone, call somebody, put your cell phone on the dashboard upside down so they don't see it on, do it. So someone on that other end is hearing.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever profiled by the police?
I've been profiled. Every time I bought a car, I was profiled. When you were little, you and your sister was little, we were on our way to Kmart to go take pictures. We were profiled. They had a Ford Taurus, 1992 Ford Taurus. We were profiled. We got pulled over. They thought it was a stolen car.
Hmm. What was that experience like?
It was scary because what did I do to cause 5 cop cars and a bunch of cops running down the street? Mm-hmm. And now I have my kids. I had a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old.
And this would be the situation where I would definitely say, I would just definitely say, I gotta get home. I'm not gonna fight you guys. I got kids. I got a family. I gotta get home. So, we're gonna shift a little bit to the stereotypes of the black father. Black fathers are known to be absent from their child's life. What was your experience like as a child? Was your father in your life?
My experience was I grew up in a single parent home. I had both grandmothers. I had one grandfather. My grandfather on my father's side passed away the year I was born. I spent a lot of time with both grandparents, but one lived in the Bay, so I spent a lot of time with my father's mom. She lived around the corner from us, so I used to just walk over there. I probably went by her house once or twice a week, to see her. There was a time where I only spent the night over my dad's house once, from 1970 to 1980. But I spent the night over his mom's house many a nights. My grandma. So we all lived in less than a half a mile radius from each other. So he had no excuse to walk over to my house to come see me. Or he had no excuse to come see me when I was over his mom's house, my grandma. So, again, all I remember one time spending the night at his house.
So where did you get your, I guess, your fatherhood skills from? Your fathering skills?
I don't think anyone really has the skill. You know, they can try to emulate someone in their, someone in their family, an adult. But really, you really don't have a skill. You know, if you really, when you have a kid, you know what you want to do with that kid. How you want the kid, that child grow up. My brother and I, we used to talk at night, laying in the bed. He was in his, I'm laying in mine, and just talk about the things we're not gonna do to our kids. You know, and that was, again, in the 70s. If we ever have kids, this is what we're not gonna do.
That's deep.
From the time I left Stockton to the time 2009, June 2009, I really never had a relationship with my dad. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna say really. I didn't have a relationship with my dad. 2009, when I found out he was had given 3 months to live. And that's when I went up to Stockton. Told you and Erica meet me in Stockton. And you guys met me, and we jumped in, I think, my truck and went to go see him. Because I didn't know how long he was going to live from that point. Let you guys go in and let you guys talk to him, get to know him at that time. And then when you guys came out, I went in. And we talked, and that was the first time I ever heard him tell me he loved me.
And that was how many years after you left? 30 years or so? 20 years?
I left Stockton in '83. He passed away in 2009.
26 years.
So
that's deep.
So, you know, every now and then I think about what type of relationship we could have had if things were different. You know what I mean?
And what kind of relationship, you know, how the relationship could have, you know, even come down to me and, you know, my siblings. You know, we didn't know him at all. You know, and that's just normal for me, you know. Some people I talk to, they don't understand that, but you know, it's like you don't know what you don't know. You know.
Because I had a couple friends used to tell me, dude, you need to mend your relationship with your dad. And I was like, yeah.
given what you know now, would you have gone? Would you have took that advice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was gonna live a lot longer.
Yeah. That's what we do. We just think we got all the time in the world until we don't.
Yeah. So that's the reason why, when I have issues with you, your sisters, or your brother, I don't let it be like it was between me and my dad.
Mm-hmm. Let's get it resolved. And move past it. And I think that's key to really any relationship, friendship, family members, whatever the case may be. Get it resolved, and move past it, because tomorrow's not always promised.
I'm gonna answer your first. I'm gonna touch on the stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
It's no stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
There are more black men being fully responsible for their children.
Mm-hmm.
As of 1990s, in the 90s, I saw more black men fighting for visitation and custody for their children.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not true. I had some black men when I was going through my custody visitation with you, your sister, your brother, and your younger sister. They were giving me advice.
Mm-hmm.
In turn, I gave someone else advice. So that's not true. That stereotype is not true.
Right. So to the struggling black father out there right now, he's either struggling to see his kids, he's struggling financially to take care of his kids, or like you said, he's struggling, maybe some kind of conflict between him and his kid. What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, you got to get rid of those egos.
Mm-hmm.
If there's conflict between you and your kid. For a struggling father, I've always said, for me, it was, I need to eat. If I ate, they're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think about me. I got to think about my well-being. I have people say, you don't think about your kids? I say, hey, if I'm taking care of myself, making sure myself is taken care of, they're going to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm saying me, I'm saying them, because they're me.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're struggling, find out why you're struggling and fix it. It's not that easy, but fix it. If you're not seeing your kids, there's too many things out there, there are too many ways out there where you can start seeing your kids. If it's distance, if it's non-distance, and baby mama don't want you to see him, go to court.
Figure it out.
Yeah, go to court. Go to court, because court it's a contract. You have the kids this weekend, I have the kids that weekend. I pay X amount of dollars in child support, you know. So for a struggling father, hey, take care of your business. Be consistent. Take care of your kids.
So before we go, earlier you talked about the stereotype of the deadbeat father, and I guess just throughout my life, I believe that stereotype, that the at least the black deadbeat father was more prominent than any other race. I didn't know why. I assumed I assume now that it was just a stereotype that I just heard since a young kid, and just I was just like, well, my dad isn't like that, so good for me. But there's this statistic, or there was this recent study done a couple of years ago that actually compared the black father with the fathers of other races, specifically the white father, and there is no difference statistically. And I'll pull up this graph that I found, and it just kind of goes through each stage of pretty much fatherhood. And if you look at the graph, the bars are pretty much the same. This study was done, I think, about 100 people. So it's a small sample. But the first section, questioned whether the father fed or ate meals with their children. Black fathers led in that section by a few points. Bathed or diapered or dressed their children. Black fathers led in that section as well. Played with them. Pretty much equal. It looks like just a hair loss on that one, but no difference statistically. And then read to them. Black fathers led. And the interesting part about this statistics or these numbers is that they were confirmed basically by a similar survey being done by black and white mothers. So basically, they did it, asked a question to the black fathers, got these results, asked a question to the black mothers, got these results. So these results, are on both sides. So the deadbeat black father is a myth. It's not real.
It is.
So I want to again thank you for coming on the show. Also want to thank you for being that father that I feel that every young black kid needs in their life. So to you, happy Father's Day. And thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Also want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope you're able to take something away from this discussion. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Again, my name is Ricky ReeezY. Stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.
Yes.